Hey, what's up? I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And we're 12 Stones, and you're watching
Jiggy Jag TV.
Yeah. Rock on, baby.
Hey, it is Jiggy Jag TV. We are here at Temple Live in Wichita, Kansas, and I'm sure this room has an official title, but I always refer to it as the Egyptian room. And we have got Josey Scott with us today. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good, actually. I am amazed that I'm getting to interview you here in this room. This is fantastic. When you walked into the temple today and was walking around, what the heck did you think of this place?
I'm just taken aback, man. It's just so gorgeous with all the artwork and, you know, messianic symbolism. And like I was telling you earlier, I know it all means something. I just don't know what.
Yeah.
And I'm fascinated with all of that. And, you know, everything is hand carved and hand painted, and it just looks amazing in here. It's so beautiful. I can't wait to play here.
It is just the most amazing setup. And they take advantage of this whole building. This whole building gets put to use.
Yeah, every inch of it. Like we've been walking around here. Me and my bass player 9 have been walking around, and one room is more extravagant than the next, and apparently bigger than the next.
Yes.
Every room is like basketball court size. It's crazy.
It is crazy. So tell me a little bit about the performance tonight, because you guys are going to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you know, I have a brand new band. I'm really excited about that. I have my stepson, Dynamite Dillon, out on the road with me. I have, like I said earlier, my brand new bass player 9, brand new amazing lead guitar player, Ben Hosterman, who is, you know, really respectful of Wayne Sweeney and everything that he did in Saliva.
That's awesome.
And he's not trying to fill his shoes. He's just trying to sort of pay homage to what Wayne did in the first place, and is an amazing guitar player in his own right. And I have an incredible drummer. I don't know what I did in life to get so
God
lucky.
bless you with a drummer.
Yeah, to get so lucky and blessed with great wives and great drummers. But I have an amazing drummer in Justin Barber, and I can't wait for you guys to see him.
That's awesome. So you've got a new album coming out too.
Well, I'm working on new stuff right now.
Yeah, talk to us a little bit about this.
I have a new single that I'm working on called Evil Knievel that I'm working on a couple of different versions for. I'm going to release a couple of different versions of it. There's a rock version, is sort of a remix version that I'm going to release. There's remixes of other songs that I wrote in Saliva, like Weight of the World and Superstar, that are, you know, going to be coming out as well, that I'm doing some remixing on. And I'm the new material I'm really excited about, like I said, because I have a brand new band and everything is fresh and new, and it's going to be awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you also have a YouTube channel.
Uh-huh.
Talk to us a little bit about some of the things you do on there.
Well, you know, I'm filming a documentary right now about the history of Saliva and, you know, our history in Memphis before Saliva and the bands we were in before Saliva, and how that plays over into us coming together in 1996 and forming Saliva. And you're going to get a lot of background knowledge about that. So for the super fans, it'll be a good deep dive into all that stuff, and, you know, tell you where all the songs came from and the inspiration for all those songs. Because the most popular thing that we hear on the road is, man, your music helped me get through a divorce, or your music helped me get through a really crazy childhood, or your music helped me get through abusive parents, or whatever the case may be. I'm so glad to be able to sort of quantify music in that way, because to me music is medicine, and I want to be able to apply it to everyone's broken hearts and open wounds, if you will. So that's what means the most to me. I think when I was younger, it was this career was sort of self-serving in a way, I guess, because I'd never been, in a big time rock band. But in my latter years, I'm seeing it as more of reaching out and helping people and seeing what I can do to help my fellow man and my fellow woman.
That's awesome.
And because that's what really makes me feel good. Is helping people.
So tell me about your writing process for any of the tunes that you've written over the years. What is that like?
Well, I've always said that the radio in my head never stops playing. even when I left Saliva in 2010, I continued to write songs like I had never left in 2011 and 2012 and 2013. They just kept coming because I don't believe it's from me. I believe it's through me, as Elvis said. Yep. Elvis said one time, it's not from me, it's through me. I just have the best seat in the house.
That's awesome.
I believe that it's from somewhere out there, and I'm just the conduit for it. I'm just the antenna, and I sort of let it come through me, and I just try to make sure I'm listening.
That's awesome. So one of my favorite songs, two of my favorite songs that you've done is Ladies and Gentlemen. And I don't know what the actual name of the song is, but it was used as Dave Bautista's entrance music back in the day. So I'm a huge Bautista mark. I've seen it labeled 5 or 6 different things.
Yeah.
So I just know it as Bautista's entrance music.
Yeah, we got to work with Jim Johnston back in the day at WWE, and we got to do lots of wrestlers intros. Like we got to do the Dudley Boys intro, Get the Tables, and then we did Chris Jericho's intro music, and then he called us back and he was like, "Hey, you guys want to do Bautista's intro music?" And I was like, "Duh, yeah, of course I do." So we jumped in the studio and banged that out as well. I really wanted to redo Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's awesome.
Intro music, because I love Stone Cold Steve Austin.
So you're a Stone Cold mark.
Oh, damn.
That's
bad.
That's awesome.
Bad.
I always think it's great that, like with Stone Cold, there's never going to be another Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right.
He was a box office attraction. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy. And you being a wrestling guy, seeing all this.
Oh, and Bautista's theme song is called I Walk Alone.
Okay.
So, and he used it, once again, in WrestleMania this past year, I believe. I thought after, I was like, he's a big movie star now. He's not going to.
He had that one more match.
Yeah, he's not going to use. He's not going to use.
He had that one more match.
And he used that, and me and my kids were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this!" So we're really excited about that.
So when you go in and write one of these songs, you just it just kind of comes out.
Yeah. Well, I've always enjoyed acting. I've been in the theater since I was a young lad, and I grew up with my father.
The way you look, you still look like a young lad.
Well, thank you. I try. But, since I was a young man growing up around my dad, who was also an amazing songwriter and an amazing actor, and had me in every audition I could go to and every play I could get in, and also every singing song contest that was available, every barbecue contest.
That's awesome.
I remember the first time I played live on stage. I think I was 12 years old, and it was at the Covington, Tennessee barbecue contest. And I was terrified. But I got up there and sang live on the radio for the first time in my life. I was 12 years old. I was so excited. But that was a big deal.
That's awesome.
It's a big deal. Hear yourself on the radio. I get excited every time it comes on. Like satellite radio. I still get Twitter-pated every time it comes on.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, being from Tennessee,
Yeah.
what is so funny is I went on I guess you would call it a vacation. We went to Dyersburg, Tennessee.
Oh,
And when we were in town, ironically that day, there was a wrestling show.
Oh, I don't
And
know.
Jerry Lawler was headlining.
Oh, I don't know.
So,
I don't know it.
talk to me about why Tennessee and wrestling and music. It just kind of all comes together.
Well, you know, with all the Southern sort of federation of wrestling entities, I was right there in the WMC TV5.
Dave Brown and everybody.
Yeah, Mid-South, what was it, Lance Russell, and Dave Brown. Dude, when Elvis's intro music would come on every Saturday morning, me and my friends would just be like, oh, here comes the king. So back in the day, when growing up in Memphis, we were taught about three kings growing up: Jesus, Elvis, and Jerry Lawler. So I remember going down on Union Avenue. Anybody from Memphis will be aware of this. Going down on Union Avenue on Saturday mornings and going to WMC TV5. That was the NBC
Studio Wrestling, baby.
Yes, sir. It was the NBC affiliate, and we would stand in line, and they'd see us, and they'd be like, "Just come in," because we were there every
Every
other
week.
Saturday. Yeah. So we would go in there and sit in the bleachers and watch these characters come out, and we got to see everybody, from Hulk Hogan,
Oh yeah,
to Randy Savage and all those guys come out there. Bill Dundee back in the day, and
what's funny, when we went to this Dyersburg thing, Bill Dundee rode with Lawler and they worked the tag match, the main event.
No way.
And Dundee's hair was as black as your jacket, and I'm sitting there going, "Come on."
Well, I remember, I think I was like 7 or 8 years old when Jerry Lawler fought Terry Funk. And they had this brutal match at the because you would go to the wrestling at TV5 on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then they would say, Monday night. It's
Mid-South
going down,
Coliseum.
Monday night." So Mid-South Coliseum, you'd go to wrestling Monday night. And then they would, Jerry Lawler and Terry Funk, I think he took his eye out right in front of him.
Oh, when he hit him with the pool cue?
Yeah, it looked like it. I know.
I
people say
watched it.
wrestling is fake.
I watched an old wrestling promo the other day. It was it was an old Major League Wrestling card from the 90s, and Terry Funk is on there, and he's like, "Jerry Lawler, you took my eye."
Yeah, I physically watched.
That is
People can
amazing.
say-
You were there for that.
Yeah, people can say that wrestling is fake all they want. I physically watched Jerry Lawler at 7 or 8 years old insert a pool cue
Into Terry Funk's
skull.
eye.
Into his, it was knuckle deep into his skull, dude, where he was twisting it and pulling it out, and blood gushed everywhere. And dude, me and my friends are just like,
Holy
what
smokes.
we were scarred for life. I think I mentioned that in therapy.
Lawler and Funk. Me and my old co-host from Jiggy Jag TV, cousin Chris, we watched the empty arena match. And Chris's favorite line is when Lawler walks to the ring and he's got his thing on. Mm-hmm. And Terry Funk goes, "Why do you got your gimmick on? There ain't nobody here."
Yeah. I was there. I was there for all of that. I was there for the whole. Who was the comedian that Jim Carrey
Andy
played?
Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman. The whole Andy Kaufman thing. Where he
Did
was
you ever
wrestling
see
women.
the documentary that they made, Jim Carrey, where he supposedly has been possessed over the years by Andy Kaufman?
I did watch that. And I talked to a few people that were on the set of that movie, and they were just like, "Man, dude, there's character actors, and then there's this was one toke over the line a little bit, But I love Jim Carrey. I think he's amazing, and
I'm glad he's decided to make a comeback.
Yeah.
I thought it was great when he was in the Sonic movie and all those others.
Oh, dude. I remember going to see, Ace Ventura for the first time, and I remember laying in the floor as a kid in a fetal position with just tears running down my face. It was so funny. And even Liar Liar was hilarious when I went and seen it in the theater. Cable Guy. All his movies are great.
So, besides doing everything that you're doing, what else you guys got going on? Like, after this evening, are you guys on like a little tour, or what's?
Well, we're finishing up our year. We have a few shows in January of 2024. I'm going to take some time off and finish up some writing.
That's awesome.
On the rest of the material I'm working on, because I have to exercise the demons. I have to get this material out of me, because it's going to sit right up here and bug me until I get it out on tape and in the studio, and then I'll be good. But yeah, I'm going to finish up in the studio, sort of tuck our year in, and do a few shows, like I said, in January. And then I want to try to get a movie in or something, do a little acting. I was scheduled to do a Western. I really want to do
That's
a
awesome.
Western. That's like bucket
What is
list
it with the
type
musicians
stuff.
and the Westerns? Like Insane Clown Posse made a Western.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a...
It's the dream, man. Because I got the acting.
You music
bug.
guys want to be actors, and
Actors want to be musicians.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. But I think we make better actors than they make musicians.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like I remember hearing, I don't know, and this will probably elicit some reaction. Jim Cornette one time on his podcast.
Me and him are like this. Me and him.
I love James E.
Dude.
He was talking about how when Terry Funk was in, I don't know if it was Roadhouse or what it was, but he said that Terry Funk did better choreography than the fight choreographers, and the fight choreographers were kind of like, what's this wrestling going in here? And it's like, 300 days a year, these guys are doing this.
Dude, I've spent...
You show up and somebody breaks a pool cue over your back, and then you go home.
Yeah. I've spent a lot of time in Louisville, Kentucky, and I've spent a hell of a lot of time with Jim Cornette.
At the castle.
Oh yeah. And we've done some stuff that I can't really tell you about on camera, but he knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, we've done some crazy stuff. And dude, he's there for it. Like if you get into some mess and something pops off, Jim is right in the middle of all.
He's
I was
right
like,
there.
This dude's about to whip his tennis racket out, and it's about to be on like a pot of neck bones up in here, dude. So yeah.
So being in Tennessee and being around all this, did you ever go see any of the TNA wrestling shows when TNA was first getting started at the fairgrounds?
Oh no, yeah. Yeah, we used to go down to Boonville, Mississippi, go to the convention center and see wrestling at the gymnasium. There'd be like 35 people there.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? We'd see like the Rock and Roll Express.
That's right.
Back in when they were in their prime, like back in like 83, 84, like when it was like when Rock and Roll Express was really, really back
Big
in
time.
But yeah, man, I've always been a huge wrestling fan, and that's why.
That's awesome.
When we became involved with the WWE, I was so excited and so overwhelmed, and just like it was a dream come true.
Yeah.
That's a bucket list.
Well, you know what's the last time I was in this building was when Fozzy was here.
Oh yeah.
And watching Jericho on that stage,
Yeah.
you can just, there's all these people in the crowd that are like, oh, Jericho, Y2J, they got all the stuff.
Yeah.
And the way he's singing and the way he's acting, that's his happy place.
Yeah.
He
Absolutely.
could give two craps about any of the stuff he's
Yeah.
doing now or has
Well,
done. He's up on that stage doing rock and roll
Right.
music.
And he is the exception and not the rule. He is one of those guys that is an amazing actor. He's an amazing wrestler.
Yep.
He's an amazing athlete. And he's an amazing rock star, man. He's an amazing singer and an amazing songwriter. I give credit where credit's due. You can't argue with his songs. Good songs are good songs are good songs. Because I believe when we all put our head on the pillow at night in this business or in any other music business, whether it be pop, hip hop, or country, you have to have songs. Because Josey Scott and Saliva and those names are going to be forgotten someday, but the songs won't be. People will know what a Click Click Boom is, or a Judas is.
Yes.
50
Oh
years
God,
from now.
he's still going to be getting royalties from Judas.
You'll be able to put that song on, and people will be like, "Yeah."
Well, it's like, and I don't know what kind of reaction this will elicit, but the other day I was flipping around the radio, and Alex Jones was on. And he was singing one of his songs to come back from break was "A Country Boy Can't Survive," and it's like, okay, that song is how old, but it's still
it still gets the job done, man.
So it's like
there's
you're right about the whole "it's the song" thing.
There's a guy that I used to date his daughter back in Memphis, but he was the singer of this band back in the 50s, and they had that song, and he played it at I think he played at the Whiskey one night in Los Angeles, and he turned around and looked at me and he goes, "It still cooks, baby.
It still cooks."
Now certain people probably he could walk up to somebody on the street and they wouldn't be able to say his name if they slapped it, but you could sing a couple lines of that song and people go, "What? I know that song, dude. I know that."
Well, like we were talking wrestling earlier, Jimmy Hart, the Gentrys.
Oh,
it's
Jimmy
still
Hart. Jimmy Hart, man.
that song. They had that one hit, and it's
well, freaking. We had Rick Dees. It's not a lot of people know us from WHBQ Radio, and he had Disco Duck.
Okay, you bring. Now I might be able to get an answer to my question I've been trying to figure out. A couple weeks ago, Jim Cornette was doing this thing called Guess the Program, where he goes through and his co-host will read, and then he's got to read the card. And it was a Tennessee card. And one of the guys on the show was Scott Shannon. And they sat there for 20 minutes and went, "The radio Scott Shannon?" And I've always thought, that can't be the radio Scott Shannon that's like around, but he supposedly is mutual friends with Jerry Lawler on Facebook and all these other things. And I'm like, really?
Dude, I remember.
The radio guy, Scott and Todd, Scott Shannon?
I remember back in the 90s, I think it was the early 90s, when Jerry Lawler ran for mayor of Memphis.
Yes.
Dude.
And I think he almost won, didn't he?
I think he almost pulled it off. I think I voted for him. Just out of respect. Voted for King.
I met Lawler on a couple of occasions. We interviewed him at a Comic-Con in Kansas City. And then I interviewed him at a Comic-Con here in Wichita. And then we were at the Dyersburg thing. I walked right up to the booth and he signed autographs and I go, "Jerry," and he's like, "Jiggy, what are you doing in Tennessee?" And that's the thing I like about guys like that, or guys like you, is that like I could meet you 2 years from now and you're like, "Oh, Jiggy, what's up?"
Yeah.
And there's so many of these people that they forget you the minute you leave. Is that just a Tennessee thing?
Well, it's just the way
or
we were
everybody's
raised.
a friend and everybody just...
It's the way we were raised. I think that is why guys like Jelly Roll, who's a dear friend of mine, is so big, is because every time I run into the man, he goes, "Josey, what's up?" He remembers your name. He remembers what you like to drink. He remembers, your favorite songs. He remembers what kind of music you like because, he loves music and he has a passion for music. But,
There's a buddy of mine that bumped into him at Rocklahoma. He was coming around the
I sang with him at
press tent. And my buddy's like, "Oh, Jelly Roll." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Can we do an interview?" And he's like, "Well, I can't legally do it because I'm not allowed to do interviews right now."
Right.
But he hung out with my buddy and they Had a good fucking time.
Yeah, I did a song with him and Brent Smith that night. I think we did Simple Man on stage at Rocklahoma. But yeah, that's just the way we were raised.
It's a Tennessee thing. Everybody knows everybody.
Even Zach Myers, the guitar player for Shinedown, that's just the way we were raised. We were raised to never meet a stranger. And
that's awesome.
We love who we love, and we respect who we respect, and we give respect and get respect, and that's what it's all about, is giving love and getting love.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So before I let you go, how do we find you online and social media and buy your music and all the stuff?
joseyscottrocks.com is my website. Josey Scott Rocks is my hashtag thingamajiggy on Instagram, and you can get me on that on Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff.
Do you do all of your own personal things?
I really do. People, not everybody believes that it's me.
That's
and
awesome.
I certainly do have a wonderful lady that helps me named Jen that helps me sort of not miss anything. She gives me the highs and lows of everything, but I get on there and I try to answer every question or everybody that inquires about anything.
That's awesome.
Because there's a lot of fakes out there.
Oh my God!
You want to be.
Oh my God! I run into that all the time.
Yeah. You want to be able to connect with your fans, and you want them to know your heart. You want them to know how you feel, because that's what this is all about. It's about that connection. It's not just about music. It's about words, and it's about talking to people and communicating with people. And like Ernest Tubb used to say, an old country star used to say, it's one handshake at a time. It's one autograph at a time.
That's awesome.
It's one hug at a time. And he was famous for signing popcorn boxes until the last soul left the building. And that's me, man. I love this. I dreamed of doing this since I was a kid. So I'm here for it, baby.
That's
I
awesome.
love it.
That's awesome. Well, you are amazing.
Well,
Thanks for making some time.
Yeah,
I really
thank you for
appreciate
making
it.
some time.
And Josey Scott and the Temple, and thanks to the Temple, and thanks for watching Jiggy Jag TV. You know what? And I didn't bring it up during the interview because I was given strict orders not to by your press people. But sit there. Get this going. Before we get started, I listen to your voice every single time I'm in the gym.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I do squat, deadlift, or bench press, I usually have on Your Disease, or because I'm a huge Batista mark, Batista's entrance music that you did for him back in the day.
A huge Batista mark.
Yeah.
I love it.
I use wrestling lingo a lot. Sometimes people just do not understand. I'll use faces and heels and all that stuff.
Kayfabe.
Yeah, kayfabe. There's an agent friend of mine. I was like, well, I don't want to break kayfabe. And he's like, what? I had to explain it to him. So. Okay.